Windows down, blacktop hum, OT media on the run. New town, faded signs, we film it all, we chase the line. Crewing back, laughing loud, headlights cut through storm cloud. Every stop's another story, every scar just adds to glory. We don't blink, we don't fold, we go where the broken roads go. Hands up, hearts on fire, one more mile, take it higher. Ocean Media, run it up, Ocean Media, never done. We were made for the rush, made for the dust, made for the sun. Ocean Media, take the shot, Ocean Media, don't look back. If the night wants a legend, we keep riding that. Abandoned stores, empty lots, torn above the city blocks. Rain on glass, engines shake, every risk is one we take. Muddy boots, red dirt turns, lessons learned from every burn. You can hear it in our breathing. We were born for something bigger. We don't blink, we don't fold, we go where the broken roads go. Hands up, hearts on fire, one more mile, take it higher. Ocean Media, run it up, Ocean Media, never done. We were made for the rush, made for the dust, made for the sun. Ocean Media, take the shot, Ocean Media, don't look back. If the night wants a legend, we keep riding that. Storm rolls in, still we go, through the static, through the smoke, lost and wild, but we know how to make the dark glow. Tell the world what we saw, every crack, every fall, louder now, let it roll. We're not small anymore. Ocean Media, run it up, Ocean Media, never done. We were made for the rush, made for the dust, made for the sun. Ocean Media, take the shot, Ocean Media, don't look back. If the night wants a legend, we keep riding that. Ocean Media, run it up, Ocean
3:30 Historic Tour, departing shortly from Shelter A behind the Visitor Center.
Depending on how we move, we may get some extra stops in where that bigger crowd won't be able to see. But just some general stuff. This is a 2-hour, 2-mile tour from that final call and once we get out of the cave. 540 total stairs through the entirety of this tour. There is one area of this cave called Fat Man's Misery and Tall Man's Agony. It's about the length of that bridge that's behind y'all right now. It's a mushroom-shaped passageway, so you can put your arms out and not really touch the walls, but the rock will kind of hit you a little bit on the hips if you're not too careful how you're walking. I'm kind of walking sideways through that passageway. If you're taller than me, or maybe a little bit taller than 5'3", you may have to duck through that passageway, but if you don't have to duck there, congratulations. You will have to duck, except for these little girls right here. They won't have to duck at Tall Man's Agony, but everyone else will. I'm 5'1.5", and I'm walking like this through Tall Man's Agony. That's only for about 35 feet. So from the entirety of Fat Man's Misery, Tall Man's Agony, it's about the length of that bridge. So that's really gonna be the smallest section of this tour today. Other than that, we'll be in some big, huge passageways. The first level of the cave we're walking into today, and then once we get a little bit lower, the walls get a little bit smaller, but it's still enough room that you can move all your arms around and not even be near the walls. So just that one spot, Batman's Misery and Tall Man's Agony, will be the tightest spot. Is that concerning anybody? Y'all good so far? Anybody want to opt out? No? Good. Towards the end of the tour, there is a staircase we call the Fire Tower. It's about 155 stairs, almost all at once. There are about 10 stairs, and then a platform, and then another 10 stairs, and then a platform, just to get back up to that main level of cave that we're going to walk into. So if you don't like heights and you don't like tight spaces, don't recommend this tour. If you don't like the sound of that, you can go talk to the ticket counter and they can help you with that. But everyone's good still so far? Didn't scare anyone yet? Alright, perfect. Just some general safety rules we have to go over with before we go into the cave. First off, I'm Ranger Jean-Marie. I'm going to be your lead guide today. That's Ranger Tyler over there. He's going to be lurking in the shadows in the back, making sure everyone's staying together, making sure everyone's following the rules. So if there's any safety concerns, he'll pop up and be like, everybody good? So, you may not hear from him, but we'll see. If you have heart or breathing problems, trouble walking long distances, navigating stairs, or other health concerns, please consider your limitations before going underground today. Evacuation from the cave for medical attention can take several hours. We're in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, going underground. So please keep that in mind. The cave is dimly lit, so please watch your head and step. The trails could be a little uneven or wet at times, and the ceiling can be low. We are a small enough group where you should all hear me if I give you a heads up saying, hey, watch your head up here, or hey, maybe a little slick. Please use the handrails. If you don't hear me, hopefully people will pass that on behind me. We're going to stay together as a group. Children under 16 do need to stay within arm's reach of their parents at all times. So we just want to make sure nobody gets lost in the cave. Don't leave your children in the cave, please. They need to come back out with you. Yeah, stay with them, all right? Small enough group, so I should always be able to see my trailing ranger. About 20 of us should be fairly easy. The slowest pace will be in the front with me. Not too worried about that with the size of the group, but slowest pace is in the front. I'm setting the pace for the tour. In the back, it may feel a little bit faster because you got to fill in any gaps that may occur. One more rule before we start walking down the hill is no weapons, tobacco, e-cigarettes, selfie sticks, tripods, monopods, people on backs or shoulders, and then no food or drink other than water unless it's for a medical necessity. If you have your tickets on your phone, make sure you have it screenshotted or synced to your phone. We will check those tickets inside of the cave. If you have a printed out copy, that's perfect. Just make sure you hang on to that until we get into the cave, and Tyler will check those tickets. Any questions or anything so far? No? Alright, well, we'll start making our way down the hill. So 3:30 historic. Tell you why. You see a lot of those once we get in the cave. Don't touch or handle any wildlife you may see today, including bats. If a bat comes in contact with you for any reason, please let Tyler or myself know immediately. There's another card we've got to talk to you about that has the word rabies on it, and some phone numbers you need to call to contact people about very expensive shots that you may need to get. Also with bats, we do have something called white nose syndrome here in Mammoth Cave. This is a bat-only fungal disease that just affects hibernating bats. So at the end of our tour, we're going to come back out to the same entrance, but on the opposite side, and we're going to walk across that mat right there. It's full of woolite and water, so soap and water. It's just to get that dirt off the bottom of your shoes, just so we don't track anything from Mammoth Cave out of Mammoth Cave. You'll remember to wash your body and your clothes, but sometimes you forget about the bottom of your shoes. So think of that as a free government soul cleansing. Yeah, I gotta at least do one bad joke. So, but any questions about the safety stuff? Nope. We are going to be using this. We're going into this natural historic entrance. This entrance has been used for over 5,000 years for people. You can't really feel it today. Definitely during the summers when it's all hot outside, you can feel a big cold draft coming out. And it's probably what led people to go down first because they're wondering what's down there. They're curious. They're like, oh, there's some nice cold air coming out of there. I want to go down there. So what they found, huge, humongous. Some even say mammoth. So we're going to get down to those big rooms. Why we're called mammoths is solely because of the size, not because there's any mammoth bones found here. We are older than the dinosaurs. No mammoths were ever found here. Some people think they heard a story about us finding a woolly mammoth down there. No, not true. No woolly mammoths. Sorry if you're a fan of dinosaurs, but no. But all right, we're gonna go on down. We're gonna check your tickets once we get down into the cave, and then we'll just keep going, and we'll get to our first stop. Let our eyes adjust a little bit, and we'll start talking about some things that we've seen.
Glory, we don't blink, we don't fold. We go where the broken roads go. Hands up, hearts on fire. One more mile, take it higher. Ocean media, run it up. Ocean media, never done. We were made for the rush, made for the dust, made for the sun. Ocean media, take the shot. Ocean media, don't look back. If the night wants a legend, we keep riding there. Abandoned stores, empty lots, torn above the city blocks. Rain on glass, engines shake. Every risk is one we take. Muddy boots, red dirt turns, lessons learned from every birth. You can hear it in our breathing. We were born for something bigger. We don't blink, we don't fold. We go where the broken roads go. Hands up, hearts on fire. One more mile, take it higher. Ocean media, run it up. Ocean media, never done. We were made for the rush, made for the dust, made for the sun. Ocean media, take the shot. Ocean media, don't look back. If the night wants a legend, we keep riding that. Storm rolls in, still we go. Through the static, through the smoke. Lost and wild, but we know how to make the dark glow. Tell the world what we saw. Every crack, every fall. Louder now, let it roar. We're not small anymore. Ocean media, run it up. Ocean media, never done. We were made for the rush, made for the dust, made for the sun. Ocean media, take the shot. Ocean media, don't look back. If the night wants a legend.
Going on here in the early 1800s. If you missed those wooden boxes, there are a few more up this hill that we're going to walk up later. It's all part of that saltpeter mining operation. Anybody know what saltpeter is, or the main ingredient is? No. So saltpeter is what makes gunpowder go boom, or it's one of the main ingredients for gunpowder. Mammoth Cave was first owned by someone in the late 1790s. Is the first written account that we have of Mammoth Cave having an owner. So what started as a small mom and pop operation, once they figured out the dirt here is rich with nitrates, it kind of went up and like skyrocketed when the War of 1812 was happening. The frontier, the U.S. needed saltpeter, needed gunpowder for that war. So a lot of the caves in this area of Kentucky were actually being mined with saltpeter. Now, when I say the word mining, don't think of it as someone taking like a pickaxe and making the rocks break off. It's solely just dirt being moved around. So we're actually walking on some man-made hills right here. Oh, I think there's a bat flying around actually. Sorry. I get distracted sometimes. But so saltpeter, they would take the dirt here in the cave from all rich with nitrate from the bat guano actually, so the bat did make a good appearance. They would take that dirt, put it in those big wooden boxes, so kind of think like a coffee filter in the morning. You put the coffee grounds in that filter, you pour water on top of it, and all that good stuff falls to the bottom. Same thing with the dirt here in the cave. They put it in those big wooden boxes, They would bring water down from the surface, that same waterfall that's kind of going off the cave entrance today. They would bring it down in these hollowed out tulip poplar trees that are right behind me. The water being the bottom one, so the water would go down, and all that stuff that seeped through that dirt, it's called niter beer solution. So it's kind of foamy, kind of dark in color. They would take that solution, pump it back up to the surface, and the other hollowed out log, it was like a man-made hand pump that they used. Once it got back up to the surface, they cooked it down like one of those big cauldrons, and then they'd try to cook all the liquid out of it to get that mixture. And then they would add potassium stuff, potassium-rich stuff like wood ash, ox blood, turnip juice, and then you got the potassium nitrate, what's it called? Yeah, but there's a word, the compound, the organic compound of saltpeter. They would take that saltpeter and then ship it to the DuPont company, which is still around today. You guys look up your, the back of your household cleaning supplies, DuPont company, and then DuPont company added a few more things into it to make it go boom for gunpowder. So during the height of the War of 1812, there's about 400,000 pounds that came from this cave. They say that every one and fourth shot in that war that saltpeter came from this cave. Wow. So a lot of gunpowder and a lot of dirt was moved around here. So that's why we're kind of walking. We're gonna see some man-made hills up to the left. The only thing that really changed in this cave is the floor level and the trail itself. So all the walls and the ceiling, that's all natural from when the water was here carving this cave out a long, long time ago. That's why that goes up on the ceiling up there. 2 underground rivers met in that room, and they were kind of fighting where to go. And they ended up making 3 arched passageways. We walked down one, and we saw the 2 out, and then 3 arched passageways actually make that circle. So, but yeah. Once that saltpeter kind of wasn't needed anymore, so the war ended in 1815, we just say the operation kind of petered out. Little joke there. But they left everything here in case they needed to come back to it. So everything that you're seeing that is all original from the early 1800s. Of course, the 2x4s and the ratchet strap, that's a little bit newer. But those stone pillars and all that hollowed out logs right there, it's all from that time. But 1 year later, in 1816, the first paid guided tour actually came through Mammoth Cave for one person. What did that person want to see? They heard about all the curiosities, all the things that they were finding down here in the cave, and the dirt was being moved around. Any guesses at what that might be?
The person or what they're...
What do you think the people found when they were moving dirt around?
Gold.
Gold? Any guesses? Any other guesses?
Bones.
Bones? What about artifacts? So no gold is here. Sorry if I ruined anyone's day by saying no gold in Mammoth Cave. But they were finding artifacts of people before their time. They were finding wooden slippers, gored out bowls, mussel shells, and even mummified remains. So there were indigenous people here about 5,000 years ago. They were here for about 3,000 years, and then they just kind of stopped coming to the cave. They just left the surface, went somewhere else, we don't know where, but the evidence that we find carbon dates to about 5,000 years ago for some of those things. They were also finding burnt cane reed torches, so very similar to the cane reed that's still grown over today. That would be their light source to explore the cave. These early visitors were exploring the cave up to about 20 miles total. They were mining a mineral called gypsum, and then we believe they were using this cave as like a burial ground or like a coming of age service for their ancestors and stuff. The mineral gypsum is kind of like a shiny, off-white, sometimes a little gray, sparkly mineral. We should be surrounded by it here. But those early people scraped this place pretty much dry. Anything out of hand's reach is still here, but it's stained by all the smoke from all those earlier tours. I'll kind of point them out as we're going down to our next stop. You can still see the gypsum, it's just not in its true pure form anymore. But we do have some areas of our cave where there was no indigenous people, where the gypsum is still that natural state, that white, shiny color. So.
They don't really know what they used it for?
No, we have some guesses. So gypsum nowadays is used for, it's in your homes, drywall, yes. So it's used in drywall, some preservative stuff. Also in some, I heard some Twinkies. I guess it's in a baking for them. Like, I don't know, maybe that's why Twinkies last forever. So we can only have our best guesses of what they would use it for. They could have been using it for medicinal, could have been using it for fertilizer, or they could have been using it for trade or building for their own homes. Just some best guesses, because it's a very soluble mineral. Once you take it out of this cave environment, and if water hits it, it's gonna deteriorate. It's gonna pretty much dissolve, like you put cotton candy in water. Anybody seen that video with the raccoon putting
Town gets small at night when the screen burns blue. I'm still in my chair trying to get through. Old post, late edits, quiet little grinds. Same four walls again, same worn out lines. Mama said be patient, keep your name clean. I fold that advice like a creased up dream. I keep my peace low, I keep my head down, counting every little step, crossing out this town. And I still remember who was there for me.
so. But if y'all kind of look behind y'all, I don't want to blind you, I'll show you what that gypsum looks like in this area. Right here, all this brown, black stuff, that should be that white crystal of gypsum. But those earlier tours, I'll kind of show y'all how they looked in the beginning. They were by lantern light. So all that smoke from the lantern was absorbed and stained the gypsum. So, and you can see it kind of out of reach of it for a human to reach that, to scrape it off. And there actually is some on the ceiling as well. So this should all be that white, beautiful gypsum, but it's not like that here, just because of all that smoke. That's gypsum. Bring y'all back in time a little bit, what those first tours were like. This was your light source for your tour. Your group probably would have been a little bit smaller than this, probably 10 people most. More often than not, it was like probably 6 to 8 people. But you'd go down with a guide. You'd start early in the morning, right after breakfast. Whatever you're eating at breakfast, bacon, sausage, all that grease, that would actually be your fuel for your lantern. So this is a replica of a New England whale oil lantern. Now, I'm not originally from Kentucky. Do we have any Kentuckians here?
Yeah.
Any whales here in Kentucky that you know of? No. No whales. It was also too pricey to get it shipped down here, so they would use all that lard, bacon fat, chicken grease. That would be the oil, the fuel for your lantern. So you can imagine what you're smelling on your tours. You came out smelling like burnt bacon, and all the hotel dogs loved you. But you go down here, the oil would be down in this little canister right here. It'd probably burn for about 3 or 4 hours. The guide has some extra fuel with them as well. There's no glass, because glass was expensive, and then also because of that smoke from that oil would be so heavy and dark and sooty that it would actually extinguish the flame if it was enclosed. So you had to walk very slowly, very carefully, because I'm not moving very much and the flame's already dancing, right? So you got to imagine those older tours, you're not walking on this nice paved concrete trail. You weren't even walking really on the compacted dirt trail. You were walking over rocks like I'm standing on right now.
Wow.
Yeah, you were pretty much bouldering through the cave to go on your tour. In the beginning, there's really only one tour. You came through that historic entrance, probably spent about 6 to 8 hours here with your guide, depending on who your guide was that day, what they felt like showing you. Then you'd go back the same way you came. But in the late 1830s, a gentleman from Glasgow, Kentucky, he was a lawyer. He came, purchased this cave for about $5,000. His name was Franklin Warren. And when he came here, he brought his enslaved individual, Stephen Bishop. Came with the cave, and then a year later, he turned around and sold the cave for $10,000 to Dr. John Crum. So tourism was pretty big at that time. Everyone wanted to come to Kentucky to see the Mammoth Cave. It was one of the most popular places to visit in the United States. We're up there with the frozen Niagara. Not frozen Niagara, Niagara Falls, sorry. Frozen Niagara is something we have in the cave. Niagara Falls was the other main place you would come to see in the U.S. So people would say, if you went all the way from Europe and you came to the U.S. and you didn't go see one of those two places, you wasted your trip to the United States if you didn't see one of those two. But people would come from all over, coming to this cave just to see these big, huge passageways, maybe to see those artifacts, and just they were curious to see what was down that deep, dark hole. They paid money to follow a stranger in that deep, dark hole, kind of like what y'all did today. So people haven't changed much, right? You guys were curious to see what was down here. But once Dr. John Cron got here, and Stephen Bishop, fantastic guide. He was very curious. He was not very well respected up on the surface, but down here in the cave, everybody loved him. Everyone respected him. They trusted him with their lives to get him out of there. In his first 4 years here, he doubled the known mileage of Mammoth Cave, just because of his curiosity. So about 20 miles were known, and he doubled that within the first 4 years, up to about 40 miles of the cave was discovered. He went anywhere and everywhere that he could get and fit through. There's passageways that we still find that we're like, there's no way anyone's been here before. They start crawling, and they see Stephen Bishop, the guide signature, right up on the rock. I said, oh, of course Stephen beat us here. But Stephen was one of the first people to actually go the way that we're going to today. He actually was the first person to cross the bottom of this pit, which we do know the bottom now is 105 feet deep, but they didn't know that with just this little lantern. He was the one that put the ladder across the rocks to cross over it. He was a brave man. He was a brave individual. He was the first one to see the underground rivers, the first one to set eyes on the eyeless fish. He crossed that underground river, got to what he thought was the end of the cave, called Dismal Hollow. That was part of the long tour, folks. So that first tour was about 6 to 8 hours, and that was the short option. What do you think the long option was?
18 days.
18, no, not that long. It was 12 to 16 hours. So you had those two options for tours back in the 1840s, the short tour or the long tour. Yeah. Would you guys come at that time if those were your only two options? Probably not. I don't know if I would have either. But he was the one that discovered a lot of what we're seeing today. And since I have such a small group, I am so excited I get to actually show off one of his signatures. I would never be able to get to do this with a much bigger group. So once we go past the giant's coffin and go down some stairs, it is going to get a little bit smaller here. Make sure to watch your head, especially if you're taller than me. There's going to be some rocks you need to duck under. I'm going to make another stop right before bottomless pit because Stephen Bishop's signature's there with the year that he made it. So I believe it's 1842, but we'll see if I'm correct. But before we keep moving along, do y'all want to experience all of Mammoth Cave without moving?
Sure.
Sure. I need y'all's help. Cover up any light sources that you may.
That's the giant problem.
Town gets small at night when the screen burns blue. I'm still in my chair trying to get through. Old posts, late edits, quiet little grinds. Same four walls again, same worn out lines. Mama said be patient, keep your name clean. I fold that advice like a creased up dream. I keep my peace low, I keep my head down, counting every little step, crossing out this town. And I still remember who was there for me, even when the room felt too.
That's the bottom of this pit. We're so far behind the tour. We're so far behind the tour. Holy shit. I might just jump. So I might as well just. Oh God! Ow. Told you I was gonna wipe my head. I'm just like crack my shit.
Laid up loads, slow hopes, coffee gone cold, a few good comments, and a heart made of gold. I got boards
Stephen Bishop. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Appreciate it. I would love that job. All I had to do is follow people around all day. Look, Wes. Where? West Walk, right there. Right below the water. Yeah. I've already been here. In another life. I just want to take all the rent so bad that way.
Be careful with it.
Yeah.
A little bit shorter. There you go.
Whoop, there they go. I got them go. Just get me out of this. Oh. There's a McDonald's in here? What is that? So what is that? They got a McDonald's in here? It is a bathroom. They said there are no bathrooms. Was that the tour?
That was a 3 hour.
I know. $35, $18.35.
It's about the size of your pinky fingernail. It's how big those shrimps are. Cave salamanders, they kind of hang out by the entrances because they do go in and outside of the cave. They're orange with like black spots. Eyeless cave beetles, there's a few different species of those. I can't name all 160, but we're National Biosphere as well. We have that on our sign into the park. So lots of species here at the cave. Yeah. Y'all have any other questions for me? Yes. Yes, that is the height above the Green River outside. So this area of the cave can flood, but it has to be extreme weathering events. This year we're pretty much in a drought, but a year ago, April 6th of 2025, I believe what's the year for the highest?
Up here is January 1937 for the number 2 at 54.6 feet. And up here is March 2nd, 1982 at 57.1 feet.
Yep. So you could not get through this room.
So is this the lowest point?
This is the lowest point on our cave tour. The lowest point you could ever get to on any tour would be the River Styx tour, which goes back down.
The highest point of water in this cave right here. With 300 and something feet down in the earth, but a river is still running right beside us. I don't know. Oh, that sounds crazy.
It looks like there's an air mattress up there. Kayaks or something.
It is, it's kayaks. Show coffee.
This is what Stephen Bishop believed to be one of his greatest discoveries. It's a vertical shaft, 170 feet tall. It's a very long drop. But there's always water coming down it. It's a little bit heavier right now because we had all that rain recently. When it flooded last hours and they never saw that guy in the water, so evidently that's not where the water was coming from. So it's still a mystery, but there's always water coming through here.
Yeah.
I don't understand anything, so I'm not engineer. This room is called Mammoth Cave, and if y'all are probably noticing, there are some cave formations in this room.
Look at that one.
We got the butterscotch falls right over there, that flows in a formation, and then right over here we call this the angel's wings, or the Oreo wing, because it's like brown and white, like a cookie. But angel wings, the Oreo wings, and then the butterscotch falls right in here. There is little soda straws kind of forming up on the ceiling. You'll be able to see it a little bit better once you go up the stairs a little bit. So there is some water getting into this room. There's a little leak in our roof. Pretty standard for our bats here at the cave.
Now, they leave the cave or they stay?
They do. They go out to the surface. That's why we don't really see many right now. They go out to the surface.